Okay. Welcome, everyone. Bienvenidos. Berto, you're going to translate into English when I speak Spanish?
Okay. Welcome, everyone.
Uh-oh. All right, 1 second. Okay, we're gonna get started. Let's do a mandala this time. I forgot last time. I got excited. Who, Hero's here? Hero, you wanna do mandala? Geronimo.
Hey, Word.
Hey, bro, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Awesome. You wanna do mandala for us?
Of course.
Okay. Let me spotlight you. Hold on.
Well, I'm outside, though. I'm like in the dark.
That's okay. We just hear your voice, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sashie pokie duksheng meto traum. Rirab lingshie niende gempadi. Sangye shindu mikte urwari. Nula pengshie sangye duparesho. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami Sangye Shedang Sokye Shoknam La Yangshu Bardu Daknya Gyapsu Shir Dakye Chenyen Gimpe Sonam Ki Dola Penjir Sangye Duparesho Sangye Shirang Sokye Shoknam La Yangshu Barjo Dakni Gyapsu Shi Dakye Chenyen Gimpe Sonam Ki Dola Penjir Sangye Duparashu Sangye Shirang Sokye Shoknam La Yangshu Bardu Daknya Gyapsu Shi Dakye Chenyen Gimpe Sonam Ki Dula Penjir Sangye Duparesho.
Show. Gracias, Hero. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get started. So if you thought class 1 was bad, this is a lot worse. Oh wait, we're supposed to do our quiz. Is everyone ready for their quiz?
Yay.
Okay, we're doing the quiz. I almost forgot. You almost got me. All right, all right. You ready? If you're not doing the quiz now, you shouldn't see the quiz because you want to see the answers on the quiz. Okay. So we're doing the honor system here. The whole point of the quiz is to learn. All right. Okay, so here I go. I'm about to share my screen. If you're not doing it, you gotta close your eyes or wait for me to say, come back, we're done. Okay, here we go. Okay. It's only 3 questions. Here's the first 2. Oh, wait. Ignore that. You never saw that. That's the quiz I did. Here's class 1. Okay. Oh, there's a fourth question. Okay, how we doing? Aldo, how far are you?
I did the quiz Monday.
Okay, good job.
Yeah.
Does anybody need more time? ¿Necesita más tiempo o no? ¿Acabaste? Okay. No one's saying anything.
Oh, please give me more time because I don't have the quiz and I look for the quiz in my computer and I lost time because of that. Sorry.
Okay. You can also do it after class, so.
Oh, yeah, I think it's better.
Okay, just because time. It's pretty short. I think you'll have it. Okay? So we're gonna get started. Okay. Let's get started. Oh, this one. Must be here. All right. But first, you have to hear me talk. Okay. We're going to get going. I'm going to try to speak slowly for my translator. We'll see how long it lasts. Probably like 5 minutes or something. So I'm super happy to be teaching this class, actually. Today I was reading the homework and I was so excited. I don't know why. I don't know. Probably because I've been in this group for almost 4 years called the Mixed Nuts. And for 4 years, except for this term, I just passed, we've been studying logic because my fellow translator, Adam Andriotti, is translating one of the books for this class. And so, I've been sitting there, mostly paying attention. Sometimes not, but I do okay in there. And sometimes I can follow the book. And other times it's very difficult for me. And some of my fellow students are quite familiar with the text and quite good, which I hate because I'm very jealous and competitive. So I'm like, wait, they know things I don't? This won't do at all. So then that gives me motivation to study. So I've been waiting to study. And even though it's a bad motivation, when I study today, I'm like, haha, finally, I'm learning everything. And it's very exciting, actually, because a lot of it I understand already because in the Tibetan, actually, because of sitting in all those classes. Adam, the translator, he's quite adept at the text. And of course, Geshe Michael, our teacher, is amazing at it. And they move through it at a good pace. And so I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot and I've learned a lot. And today I was just even surprised at how much that I've learned, because I kind of didn't even know. Okay. So okay, so first of all, what's the name of the book we're studying? Anybody?
Commentary on body perception.
Yeah, good. Who wrote the commentary on that commentary that we're studying?
Master Chandrakirti?
Dharma Kirti.
Dharma Kirti wrote the commentary, and then Yongzin Purbuchok Jampa Sultrim Gyatso wrote the key to the logic machine, which is what we're studying, right?
Yep.
Okay. What are his dates?
1825, 1901.
Yay! Good. Just reviewing the thing you just reviewed, okay? So that text is in a class of text or genre of text called a dura, okay? Say the word dura.
Dura.
Dura, yeah. It should be pronounced dudra, but it's like colloquial and they mispronounce it. It became mispronounced. It's like saying "Cómo está," where it's just like, you know, whatever you say a lot in any language just becomes this anomaly, right? Same thing in English, you know, it's like, what's that? What is up, right? So dura, and so the key to the logic machine is the main dura that we're using, but there's two others as well. So what is a dura? Du means, wait, who's here? Who's in my class? What Tibetan students are here? I need to bother people. Rivas is here. Rivas will be bothered. Who else? Pachi, where's Pau? She's hiding.
Hiding in the bathroom.
Yeah, as usual. Okay. When she comes out, I'll bother her. Who else? Rick is here. Good.
Juan.
Hasso's here?
Yeah.
Hola,
Juan Ernesto Hasso?
hola, word. Can you hear
Hasso.
me?
Yeah. Hasso,
Good.
what
Yes.
does Dura mean literally?
Dura means it's pramana, isn't it? No, it's the review text that they use for the compendium of
Yeah,
the
that's true.
how much I made.
It's nothing. You're pretty much wrong, but good try. Dura means like collected topics. Hasso's right about what it is. He's just wrong about how he translated it. So du means like to bring together. It comes in many Tibetan words. If Sugeng was here, I would bother you with which ones, but and dra or ra means to contain or something. So anyway, because the Pramanavartika, actually Pramanavartika, is a really, really hard book, okay? Of course, one of my fellow translators, the master of logic himself, Ben Kramer, wants to translate this book. So he's gonna start, I believe, next term, translating the Pramanavartika. Hasso,
Yes.
mute your mic.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's a very tough, it's a very difficult book. And so what these great commentators of Tibet did is they made like what do we say in English? Like a primer, like it, without going into all the technical aspects of the text, it discusses like a workbook or something, each one of the different subjects, like the main subjects, you know, like you have in grammar school or something, like in math class, they break it down, because like if you had to figure out the equations yourself or something, it would be impossible, right? You just want to know how to use some of the tools, right? So that's Dura. And yeah, our Dura is called Yongzin Dura. Hasso, $20. What is Yongzin?
Johnson means the junior tutor of the Dalai Lama.
It's not junior. Try again.
Just the tutor of the Dalai Lama.
Yay! Nice, Hasso. So I'll give if you can find me, I'll give you $20, okay? Good luck. No, Hasso, I'll put it on. I got a bill for you, okay? It's getting bigger.
For Christmas.
Okay. Feliz Navidad. So yeah, so they call this Yongzin Dura. It means that Dura that's made by the famous Yongzin, who is Purbochok. And so, and then one of the other Duras that we're going to use is called Se Dura. Se in this case is the same Se in Geltse. Does anybody know that Se? I taught you this summer. Who's Geltse? Who's Venerable Lobsang Geltse? Come on. It means
Kielse means like child of the victors, right?
wow. Yes, it means Victor Gonzalez's child.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm joking. Yeah, it basically means bodhisattva. So anyway, say means like it means the son or daughter. It's a gender neutral term actually, usually of a prince. I'm just gonna give a king. So like a royal son or daughter, but here it means like the high son or daughter of the Buddhas, which are the bodhisattvas. Anyway, a lot of times when a lama is really close to their student, like Nick Lashaw and Geshe-la, they'll just call them like Yab Se, meaning father and son, meaning they were so close, they were like father and son. So that book is called Se Dura. It's named after the Se, who is Ngawan Chashi. And he was a very close disciple of, oh my God, oh, my brain just did a thing, but a famous lama. So they call it Se Dura. And that's
Jason Kappa, Nawan Trakpa.
no, not Jason Kappa. Thank you though. It's a famous reincarnated lama of Sarame. Anyway, it'll come to me, don't worry. And so they call that Se Dura. I'm just going over the text that we're doing, as Geshe did in the class. And then there's a third Dura called Ratu Dura. And that one is a text from a famous monastery called Ratu, which I know very little about, but Geshe mentions it in the class, and I want to mention it as well. My mind. Okay. Anyway, so Dura is just a logic primer text of the collected works, which is a commentary on the Pramana Vartika, which is the Sanskrit name for Master Dharmakirti's book, which in Tibetan is Tsema Namdrel. Okay? Cool. All right, so when these books are written, it's written in a very particular way. And they're written in debate format. So it's not only that it's a book about logic and how to debate, but the book on debating is written in debating. So I don't know if there's even like a part in the book that they teach you like how to debate or something like that. I don't think they do that. I think someone does teach you in like your teachers in the monastery, for instance, or for me, Geshe Michael, or some of my friends, his students, but the book is comprised of various debates. And by doing the debates, memorizing them and practicing with your friends in class or after class in the debate ground, you're supposed to learn how to debate. So that system, we say in English, pedagogical system. I hope Berta knows that word, pedagogical, something. Yeah, it's something like that, I'm sure, because it's like Latin. So it just means the way that they teach. And so that pedagogical system in the debate text is broken into 3 famous parts. Okay? And and like American school system, Mexican school system, Chinese school system, I've never heard any school system that uses this form of this pedagogical system except for this Tibetan system. And by the way, where does our debate tradition actually come from? Who's the original debater in our debate system? Anybody?
Aristoteles.
Who?
Aristoteles.
That's Western.
The Buddha.
Yeah, said that, Rivas. But actually, Pachi, you're kind of right too. There's some indications that because Alexander the Great conquered parts of India, or what's now India, in, I don't know, 325 BC or something, because he conquered parts of India, and he was a direct student of Aristotle, right? He and I think Aristotle's nephew came on that world conquering tour with him. Anyway, there's some indication that because of that, there was influence in the Indian debate system from Aristotle via Alexander the Great, because after that, there was a succession of Greek kings in what is now, I think, parts of Pakistan, and even as far as west as Afghanistan, right? And Iran, because he conquered Persia, right? He beat Darius II or something. I don't know, you can check. Anyway, so you're both right. Yay. But mostly the Buddha, okay? And so, and if you read these old sutras or hear about them, you hear all these amazing stories of like, and then this, non-Buddhist came up to the Buddha and was like, blah, 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 karma. And the Buddha's like, no, and then blows them away. And there's all these famous stories of, I think the Buddha was a highly controversial figure during his time for many reasons, not the least of which was allowing people of any caste to learn, right? That's like, yeah, that's like, it's like a few things actually. That's like Geshe Michael and Ken Rinpoche teaching women, actually, because the Geshe system hadn't been taught to women, I don't think, at least widespread teachings in Tibet. And I believe they were the first to teach the whole system to women, which is awesome. And here we are, okay? So, and I think there's more women that finish this ACI course than men anyway. So, so yeah, so this whole system comes from the Buddha. And debating was a very big deal during those times because apparently if you debated and lost, you had to convert to the other person's religion. And like, I don't know how closely that held that was, or if people really did it, but that's what I heard. That's what the tradition is. So I don't know. It's pretty high stakes, but it makes sense. It's like, oh, you believe in logic? Okay. So if I can prove your logic or your system's incorrect, then you should join my system, right? So there's different stories about that through the years in India as far as debate. I just wanted to remind you of that. Okay, so what are the 3 parts of the pedagogical system as I go back on track here? So the first part, say Shenluk Gakpa. Shenluk Gakpa. Shen means other. Luk means system. Gakpa means to stop. What famous word is this gak in?
Gaksha.
Yay, good thing I didn't offer money. And it's like someone's gonna get that. Yeah, gotcha. Gotcha means the thing that we deny exists, the thing we stop, right? The thing we refute. So this is Shenluk. Shen means other. Luk means system. And Gakpa means to stop. So in this system, it's quite unique in the fact that the other people's point of view gets to go first, right? So, and they get to go on, tell their story, and then the whole point is that we come in there like, nah, and then blow them away, and you're like, haha. And then after that's done, you do Rangluk, Shakpa. And Rang means the opposite of Shen, which is our or mine. Luk, same system. And then Shak means to present or something, Shakpa. And Namshak is the presentation, for instance. And so in that second part, that's when basically we just tell the reader how it is, what we believe. And basically, in like Western pedagogical system, we let me see, we just have this part, right? Like if you read a math book, it doesn't, or a history book. How about a history book? If you read a history book, it doesn't tell like the loser's point of view first, right? They say history is written by the winners, right? It just tells you there's one point of view, and then you're supposed to believe it, and then that's it. So we're used to systems where the whole book, the whole story is Ranglu, is the person, from the perspective of the person writing it. And then the last part is called, say, Supa Pongwa. Supa Pongwa. Pong means to like eliminate. It's what we do to mental afflictions if we reach nirvana, or obstacles of omniscience if we reach Buddhahood. And Tsupa is actually the Tibetan word for debate or argument, like Tsupa tsu or tsugyap. It literally just means to argue in Tibetan, like if you were like yelling at your neighbor or something. But it also means to debate. But here, Tsupa Pongwa, in proper English, you would say like the rebuttal. Like the person presents, you refute them, you present your thing, and then they come back, they're like, with their objections, they're like, but now I have a couple other things I want to say that are wrong about that. And you're like, all right, go ahead. and then you beat them again. You're like, nah, that's wrong too. Which, and there's a joke. My teacher always says, because it's fair, you know, they get to present, you know, they get to come back. It's this fair system. And I always have this joke, which sometimes I say, sometimes I keep it to myself, but which is like, well, actually we're writing the whole book, so it's not really their perspective. It's just us writing someone else's perspective and pretending like we beat them in an argument. But anyway, it does present other perspectives, and it is awesome. And it does make you think a little harder. Although I've heard that in the monastery, usually, or sometimes, I don't know about usually, sometimes the monks will just skip to the second part to know what we're supposed to think. It's like, I don't want to read all this. Because if you've noticed, these debates are long. Has anybody attempted to look at the homework or the readings? They're quite long, okay? Geshe-la, I think there's like 500 pages or something. It's insane. But don't worry, Aldo and Rivas are just about to translate, right? Pachi's gonna help, don't worry. It won't take long. Pachi, you can call me with questions, so it's okay. We'll get done fast. No, I don't know when they'll have time, but it's long. But it's amazing. I was reading it today. I was like, oh my God. It's really mind-blowing. It is pure logic. It's like reading I don't know if you ever tried to do computer programming. I tried just a little bit. It's like reading that. It's just like 1 + 1, 2, 2, and then minus the 1. And you're just like, it's like that, but words instead of numbers. And you're like, whoa, okay. I guess if you know how to read it, which I want to go over a little bit at the end of class, because it can seem crazy. I mean, it's crazy enough, right? But it can seem very difficult if you don't know some things about how to read it. So, and I want you, those of you who know English, because I guess it's not in Spanish yet, and who want to read it. So, all right. Oh yeah, another thing, logistics. I messaged with Venerable Jigme, who helps run ACI, if you don't know who that is. And I asked her what you need to get certified for this course. And she said, if you do these classes with me and listen to Geshe Michael's classes online, and finish the homeworks, the meditations, you know, all the regular requirements, you can get certified, okay? So just listen to these annoying classes with me talking at you. And then when you're in your car in Mexico City traffic, Victor, you can just play Geshe Michael, you know, and listen and just show up, do the homeworks and quizzes and meditations, and you will be done, okay? I'm trying to make this easy. I don't know how I could make it easier, except do it for you. What does Rick say? Rick's from Singapore. He's informing us of all the technical stuff. Thank God for Singaporeans. Okay, cannot miss more than 2 classes, right? Says Rick. I guess so, Rick. I don't know. Probably. Ask Aldo or something. He probably knows.
Yep, no more than 2 classes.
Okay, whatever Aldo says. All right. Yeah, I think it's something like that. It's true. It's something like that. I don't know how that works if you're going to listen online anyway, because you can just listen online and do it. You don't have to take this class to do it, I guess. So you figure it out. If you have questions, you should bother Tim. I'll give you his address and phone number if you want it. I'm joking. I wouldn't do that. Just text me after class. I'll give it to you. All right. Cool. Wow, I'm really doing it. I'm teaching everything. Okay. So that's the basic format, the pedagogical format. And now, Geshe did this in this order. I think I'm not going to do that. Okay, so the subject of today's class is pretty cool. Actually, it's really cool. Some of you are DCI type people. Victor Gonzalez, you're a DCI type person. Meaning you're involved in DCI. I think it's course 7 of DCI, which is the one where Geshe talks about direct perception of emptiness. Is that 7? Okay. Woo! I know that much about DCI. Maybe I'll take a DCI course one of these days. Yeah, in course 7, he goes over this too. So if you took DCI course 7, you already know some of this stuff. It's he goes over all existence, you know, all existing things, all existing objects. Wait, I have to give another motivational speech, okay? I'm gonna keep giving these so that you practice. Why are we studying this annoying subject anyway? I mean, it's pretty annoying. I mean, I gave you a speech last time, I'll give you a new one. The reason we study logic is to see emptiness directly. You know this, right? So there's a really famous story of Jamyang Shepa. That's Nawan Trashi's teacher. How long did that take me? Half an hour? Okay. I'm getting old. Jamyang Shepa. Okay. Don't ask me why I remembered in that second, but it happened. Now what was I saying? Oh yeah, the famous story. Thanks, Annabelle. I can't really read your lips, but I'm sure you were trying to help. Okay. Geshe Michael, holy Geshe Michael lived in a monastery in Jersey, not far from where I am, actually. I'm in my mom's house. Right. It's like, I think it would take like 8 minutes to drive to New Jersey from here. And if I keep driving basically straight, just due east, I would hit Geshe-la's monastery. It's like 40 miles from here. There was all these Mongolian, it was a Mongolian monastery called Rashi Gampaling. And there's a lot of stories out of there, but it's a Mongolian temple, Kalmyk, which is Asians in Europe, what's now Russia, Kalmykia. Anyway, there was a teacher there, a Mongolian monk, a Geshe, and he was dying actually. And on his deathbed, okay, this is like high Geshe, you know, he studied everything, Tantra, you know, all these sutras and all these beautiful teachings, his whole life, you know, he was probably a monk since he was a little boy, was dedicated to studying these teachings and teaching them and practicing. And on his deathbed, he was reading this book, this logic book that they give like 12-year-olds. This is the book he was reading. And reportedly, Geshe Michael was like, well, why are you, you know, like, Lama, why are you reading this book? Like, why aren't you reading like some high tantric text or something? He's like, this is what I want in my mind when I die. This is what I want in my mind, which is incredible. And so they say that this subject, Dora, specifically Chiche Dak, if you know what that is, but Dora is the door to emptiness. Meaning if you get this subject down, if you understand logic well, as presented here, you can have direct perception of emptiness. You know, of course you need to plant some other seeds, right? They say, get a teacher, take care of people, you know, do yoga, meditate, and, you know, study. Those are the seeds. And then very specifically study the Dora. And then very, very specifically study Chichedak, which is a topic about how things can come from seeds. How you can be fooled into thinking things exist in a way that they don't, even though it's clear they could never exist in that way, right? So if you think about that enough, especially get some good teachings on it, and think about it a bunch, and then meditate on it, and then argue with Aldo about it in Guadalajara, and then meditate some more, and then study some more, and then teach it, and then yada, yada, yada. Eventually, you'll get it, okay? So, I mean, if you wanted direct perception emptiness, I mean, wait, what are the benefits of this direct perception? If you never heard of it, maybe you never heard of direct perception emptiness. Maybe you never heard of emptiness. I don't know. I don't even know who's in my class. Zoom's weird. I can only see like 5 heads at once or something. Okay, now I can see more heads. Alexa's in my class. Hi, Alexa.
Hi, I've been here all class, but I was on the phone, so now I'm here.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so emptiness is the fact that there's nothing not coming from you. Okay? And if you really get that, like if you realize it, you know, then in a deep state of meditation, right? You have to learn how to meditate. Okay, that's course 3. Take it with Aldo. Okay, I'm just doing the courses that I have to do for my homework. Aldo will teach you how to meditate. If you learn how to meditate really well and really understand this subject, right? You'll be able to see that directly. And then all these amazing things happen to you. They call them the 4 Noble Truths. And if you have like this incredible love in your heart, then you see all beings, you see the face of every being, and you'll be like, I'll help you, I'll help you, I'll help you, I'll help you. Infinite of them. And then they say you can't, your seeds are unstoppable at that point. You can't not get enlightened. And soon, not that long, and Hasso always jokes around, soon in Buddhist terms, okay? Which is like 500 years or less, okay? But then if you study Tantra, you can do it in one life, okay? So, okay, that's more advertisement to study logic, because you need advertisement to study logic. Otherwise, you're gonna leave class when it gets hard, okay? And it's gonna get hard. All right, cool. So this class is all about everything, you know? What is everything that's in existence? Okay? So now say Shidrup ki Namshak. Okay, I told you what Namshak meant, but that was like 7 minutes ago. Namshak means presentation. And Shidrup means, literate means something you can prove is there or something like that. But it just means an existing thing. It just means something which exists. That's all. Okay. There's a lot of words for existing things. Actually, we're going to go over them right now. Do you guys need more visual aids? You probably do. There's like visual people out there. Maybe I'll write it in the chat or something. These are all my notes. They might be in the notes that the student in the class took, but sometimes those notes are a little, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm writing Shidrup in the chat. Not that it looks like Giji group, but you pronounce it Shidrup. Oh yeah, if you want to learn how to pronounce Tibetan, ask Hasso, okay? His Tibetan is like, I don't know what happened to him this summer. I think it's his girlfriend's fault, but his Tibetan is very good. His reading is very good. Right, Hasso? Is he asleep?
Yes, yes. It was a whole plan between you and Nicole, I know.
Yeah.
Something happened.
She did her job perfectly, okay?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Maybe maybe Hasso wants to teach you how to pronounce Tibetan. I don't know. If he really wants to be a translator. Okay. So I wrote them in the chat. So these words all mean basically the same thing. There's another one in the reading that Geshe didn't put in the class, but I'll just put it here. Okay, Shidrup. That means like existing thing. Yupa just means, it literally means like is or to have. Hasso said he'll teach you, okay? So bother him. Hasso, now they're gonna bother him the way you bothered me the last decade, okay? The way you bothered me the last 10 years. Karma, okay? Sorry. I tried to warn you. And then Sheja literally means like knowable thing. So it also just means something you can that exists, that you can know, right? And then Ch can mean dharma, but in Sanskrit, dharma, which is a Sanskrit word, right? Dharma can just mean a thing, right? It also means like the teachings, like, you know, it comes into English as the word truth, as I mentioned last class. But the Tibetan word Ch, which also means the teachings, the dharma, can also mean thing. So anything. And when we learn how to be, you'll need to learn this word. Okay. So, and then yul just means object, which means a thing, which means something that exists. And then shelja, this is all in the chat if you're wondering what I'm talking about. Maybe I should just show you my notes. Shelja means, it literally means a weighable thing. Shel comes from this word njel, apostrophe J-A-L, and it means to weigh something. Hasso, I'll give you $20 if you can tell me what the other gel means. M-J-A-L.
Heavy.
Mm-mm.
One is to weight and it's like heavy load.
Mm-mm.
Uh-oh. Again, what word?
Gel, M-J-A-L.
M-J-A-E-L? I don't know. Not, you say weight already?
Cancel the bet.
Okay.
It means to meet, like to meet the Dharma, like chunje.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard that, right?
Yeah, the deities in the temple, even the tankas, you meet them.
Yeah, you meet them. Exactly. Good. Sorry, you had your chance. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good try. I'll just show you. Wait, is this my notes? Yeah. I'm just gonna show you my notes. They might be incomprehensible to you, okay? But there they are. Okay, cool. So this is what we just went over. A thing. Oh yeah, this is a funny thing. Don't worry about that. Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, Yeah, Tibetan is difficult to translate already. I mean, Tibetan is difficult to translate. Any other language can be hard to translate, right? And then this subject matter is very difficult to translate, right? Because it's logic. And then older books can be hard to translate because the languaging is often old. Even if you know a language, you know, it's like the difference between reading the newspaper in Spanish and reading, you know, Cervantes, right? Don Quixote. It's like, that's not the same thing, right? The Spanish is very different. I know Spanish has a lot of words in it too, and there's many ancient words that I'm sure that people don't use as well. So anyway, those are all difficulties. But then there's an additional difficulty. There's not really, at least I guess not in colloquial, and I guess not in literary Tibetan, there's not really an A or a the. And so when you start talking about these subjects like Chichedak, which I just mentioned, or other logic subjects, and there's no the, it's very, 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 very difficult to translate. And so if you know how hard it is and you see some of Geshe Michael's translations, then you'll think he's even smarter than you thought he was in the first place, which was extremely smart. Okay. And some of these notes are from the class. Geshe speaks in Tibetan sometimes. And again, if you don't know, Tibetan is said to be the hardest language on earth to spell. And so even if you know what someone says, you don't always know how to spell it. And because of the debate tradition and the fact that you're not allowed to bring books on the debate ground, everyone memorizes everything that they know when they debate. But what happens is they're human and things get passed down in a slightly different way sometimes, okay? So between all those things, sometimes it's very, very hard to find out how to spell a word in Tibetan, how to figure out what someone's saying. You can pronounce it, but you can't necessarily look it up because Tibetan's so hard to spell that it could be a variety of ways to spell it, and even if your spelling is good, it's hard. So anyway, that's why my notes look the way they do. Although I figured out how to spell this one, it's in the reading. And if all this looks crazy to you, you should bother Hasso. Okay? He needs karma, okay? Help him out. All right, so the first thing we're going to learn about is the definition of an existing thing, okay? And it's actually, it might seem obvious or something with some of these definitions, but it's very, very deep. At least I think so. So a definition of an existing thing, yupa. I think it should be yupe seni actually. Yupe seni. The definition of an existing thing is tseme mikpa. What's it sema?
Perception.
Yeah.
Or correct perception.
Yeah, good job. I believe that was Rivas, right? Thank you. Mikpa means to perceive, right? To see something. Its root is mik, it means like eyes, right? In English, we say the same thing, like, you know, how do you see things? Literally, how do you perceive, okay? So anyway, this is on the homework, okay? This is on the homework, this is on the homework. I think it's the first question. Seme mikpa yupetseni. You don't have to know Tibetan. I'm doing that for the nerds in the class who's studying Tibetan and for whoever's watching this on YouTube. Okay, that thing that has been perceived by a valid perception. Okay, meaning if you see something validly, That's how you know it's an existing thing. Besides that, there is no existing thing. Oh yeah, by the way, it's right here in the notes. It's perfect time to say. The logic textbooks for Buddhismo are not written from the Prasangika perspective. What's Prasangika? Anybody?
The school we study in, the high school.
Yay! Exactly. Prasangika is the school we study in, okay? You should know that, okay? That's like you're at Yale and someone's like, what university is this? And you're like, I don't know. Prasangika is the Sanskrit word for it. But it's the most, people just say middle way, but you have to say higher middle way if you want to be specific, okay? And so higher middle way, or Prasangika, if you want to be all Sanskrit about it, is the school perspective, which talks about the pen, like the pen being projected out of the seed with the label that puts on it, and there's nothing but the labels, and it's on parts, and that's all your world is. Okay, that whole story, that whole viewpoint is Prasangika. But we're not in Prasangika for logic school. The logic school, which was founded by who?
Buddha.
Yeah, who said that?
Rivas.
Okay, good. And then commented on by who? Who wrote the book?
Dharmakirti and then Purbachok.
Yeah. And wait, who's Master Dharmakirti commenting on, Rivas? For 100 pesos.
Garjuna.
No.
Buddha.
No. I mean, yes, but no. Master Dignaga. Okay? Dignaga was Dharmakirti's teacher, and the commentary on valid perception is commenting on Master Dignaga's book. Okay? Which I don't believe there's a copy of in the world anymore that I know of. Okay? Anyway, they form the basis of the Sautrantika school. Here it is. I even wrote it in my notes here. Say Sautrantika. Okay? I'll teach you. You want to learn some Sanskrit? Okay, even if you don't, you're going to learn some now. Okay? Yes, Alexa, this forms the study for course 4 as well. Okay. So in Sanskrit, okay, I'll write a Sanskrit word. Here, I'll even spell it right. Okay. See this word here? You've all seen this word, right? Somebody pronounce it. Anybody?
Sutra?
Okay, you gotta try again though. Make it a long U.
Sutra?
Yay, good. Sutra, which just means a book. I mean, literally it means a string, but it's a book, a text, or text by the Buddha. Okay, so sutra it's a long story why it's called that. Don't ask me why. But the sutrists, those that follow sutra, in English we just say sutrists. Okay, see this? Look, I'm gonna write. You see how see this? Okay. If you want to make a word in Sanskrit, often from its noun form to its adjective form, you change the quality of the vowel. So it goes from sutra to sao, right? We do this in English sometimes, like demonstrate, which is a verb, becomes demonstrative as an adjective, right? The quality of the vowel changes when it goes into another part of speech, okay? You didn't want to know that, but now you do. So Sautrantika are those people who follow the sutras. Got it? Yeah, anyway, and those are the logic schoolers, the logikers, okay? They're not prasangika, so they don't have the same exact beliefs. So even though they're teaching logic, which is not something, it's like math, it's just logic, they have very particular beliefs, which the prasangika, the higher middle way, does not agree with. Okay? All right, now you know. All right. Okay, and a tema is just it just means a valid perception. What's the opposite of tema? It's a temin, okay? And then, so how many temas do you have a day? About, aproximadamente. Well, actually, exactly. How many do you have exactly a day?
None?
No, you have thousands.
Most of them. Yes.
How many do you have, Aldo?
65 times the seconds in the day. I'm not good with math.
Okay, no, that's exactly.
Unless you like a lot of beer and stuff like that, maybe not.
Exactly.
Or something.
Minus the same ins, right? 65 times 60 times 60 times 24 minus how many wrong perceptions you had is the exact amount, right?
Well, aren't we always having wrong perceptions?
Did you come to last class? No, you didn't, did you? I'm messing with you, Alexa. I love you. Aldo asked this question already, okay? Last class. Yes, that's why this is called, SEMA is called a valid perception, meaning I'm having a valid perception of being on Zoom right now and looking at Alexa's head in her room, I guess, right? So that's a valid perception. I can interact with it and it's real, right? You can have a valid perception of someone hitting you on the head and it would hurt, right? Is it a correct perception, meaning that some guy just walked in here and hit me on the head for no reason at all? No. Until from the higher school perspective, not from the lower school, from the higher school perspective, until you're seeing emptiness directly, or Buddha who sees emptiness all the time directly, you are not having correct perceptions, right? But in the lower school, what is ultimate is all about how a thing functions, because they're functionalists. And that's also in the homework, okay? Don't ask me to explain it too good though, because you might not get the best explanation. That's why you should listen to the classes as well, and if you want certification. Good objection though, Alexa. There's always one Subudi in the class, okay? Usually it's Hasso, okay? But now Hasso he's changing his angel disguise. Okay, cool. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the class subject. Don't worry, we'll get through everything. I have another 47 minutes, at least. Okay, so now we have to talk about this thing, which can be very confusing, because oftentimes when a tradition, especially one as deep as Buddhism, gets translated from one language to another, and also one culture to another, there are mistranslations. Because not only are these difficult concepts. And not only is it in a different language, but also there's different cultural context as well. So all those things make it sometimes nearly impossible without a really good teacher to translate these things correctly. So that happened also in the case of, say, takpa mi takpa. Takpa mi takpa. Hasso, let me hear you say it. I want to hear Hasso say it.
Takpa, mi takpa.
Good pronunciation. It's takpa, not takpa, right, Hasso?
Right.
Okay, because takpa means to tie somebody up. But takpa means unchanging, okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, good. Nicole is a good teacher, Hasso.
Thank you.
Okay.
She'll be happy to hear that.
Okay, takpa. So takpa means unchanging, okay? But usually, or sometimes, I don't know about usually now because we're changing how translation is done. Thanks to Geshe-la. Takpa, it has been translated as permanent, and mitakpa as impermanent. So when we divide all existing things to define to make an outline of all existing things, we divide them into two categories: takpa and mitakpa. And in Tibetan, you just say takpa mitakpa. You don't have to say and in between necessarily. It's understood. And so this definition or translation as permanent is problematic for takpa. Okay? So I have to explain how that is problematic. Here we go. All right. So this is the thing. There are many, no, I shouldn't say many. There are certain things that are considered unchanging. One of the main things that's unchanging is emptiness. So emptiness is a negation, meaning, okay, this is my phone, right? But we're gonna pretend it's a pen or a phone, okay? I guess this would be a true toy to a dog too, right? Okay, so when I project on this object as my phone, my pen phone, I have something that comes out of me, right? Or from me and is overlaid onto the parts, onto this object. And that process happens because this object is empty of being a phone, meaning it is not a phone until I project phoneness onto it, right? You're staring. Okay, so that emptiness, that quality of not being anything until it's projected on as something is unchanging. It never wavers in its quality of its emptiness, right? It's always equally not a phone until I project on it, right? And if I had a dog and it came in here and it was like, phone, not phone, juguete. and chewed my phone up, right? To me, a phone chewed the rectangle up. I don't think it's not that chewable though. Okay, chewed the rectangle up. Then to them, it's a chew toy. But the quality to them that it projects on it as a chew toy is possible due to the fact that it has no other quality on its own. The fact that it's not a chew toy from its own side, which is called its emptiness, right? La vacuidad, right? It's dad de vacui, right? Vacío, right? Nothing there. Correcto? Okay. Good. So that quality or that lack of a quality is unchanging. But one day when my iPhone, my 6S, which is already kind of obsolete, but I like it because it has the phone jack. Okay, I mean, it has the earphone jack still. Okay, that's why I have the 6S. My 6S, when one day I'm like, okay, enough of this. I'm just gonna get the AirPods and have an iPhone 16 or whatever. When I do that, and they melt this down into parts, and it's no longer it no longer exists as an object to be projected on, its emptiness will also no longer exist. It will blink out. But it's not that it changed. The quality of emptiness didn't change, but because the object no longer exists, then the emptiness of that object no longer exists. Okay? So based on that logic, how many emptinesses are there in the world?
Infinite. As many as objects.
Yay! Nice, Hasso. Wow. Yeah, exactly equal to the amount of objects there are. Right? And if there's infinite objects, it'd be infinite emptinesses. If there's 1 zillion, right? That's how many, okay? Whatever the number is, that's exactly how many, okay? So, is emptiness unchanging?
Yes.
Yes.
But is emptiness permanent?
No.
No, because when that object goes out of existence, the emptiness is gone. Permanent means in English, in español was permanente?
Yes.
You see, okay. When permanente means it's always there. Correcto?
Correcto.
Okay, cool. Giro. So, which means you can't say permanent. You have to say unchanging. Got it?
Sí.
Okay, good. And the same for impermanent, right? It's just the opposite thing and changing. Okay, so the definition of these words, because we're defining all existing things. I mean, eventually, if I ever get to the end of the story here, right? Is that the definition of a changing thing, which is most stuff, you know, telephones, your mind, pens, your marriage, if you have one, you know, Mexico. These are all, well, I guess the country of Mexico, not the concept of Mexico. Anyway, these are all changing things, right? Because there's something that only lasts for a moment, meaning, I mean, Do you ever think about change? I mean, like, really think about it? It's pretty incredible, actually. It's actually a proof of emptiness. If you really think about change enough, it's another proof of emptiness, such that the first school of Buddhism, that is their belief of emptiness, that things are empty of not changing, okay? Which is limited and is not the ultimate view, but is true. I mean, at least most things, right? Or some things? Things. Okay, so it means that to say something changed means that it's constantly running out of something, right? Even if you say, oh, I'm not, you know, like ever not see somebody for a while and they're like, oh my God, you changed, you know, something, their hair or their body size, or I don't know, or they look older or younger or whatever it is. And you're like, oh, really? I changed? Huh? I don't know. Right? Because they're seeing themselves every day, and you see them once every year or something, and you notice the change, but they don't, right? Because by definition, for something to change, it has to be changing constantly. Correct? Otherwise, it couldn't be changing. So when they define changing things in Buddhism, they say something that only lasts for a moment, meaning something that is moment to moment, its existence is differing, wavering. Okay? All right. So, and then permanent, or I should erase that. Forget I said that. Unchanging is the opposite, okay? Unchanging is something that isn't wavering in that way, isn't differing, okay? Try to explain changing without using the word changing, okay? That's the problem here. And so instant in Tibetan is kachikma, okay? And there's been a few times when translating I get this wrong because excuse me, ke chikma. Ke literally means language and chik means one. So sometimes I read this fast. I'm like, one language, what's that? But it's one word here, ke chikma. It means instant. Ke chikma, ke chikma, ke chikma. It means that's how fast it changes. It changes. That okay? All right. I think that's all the homework questions. Okay, now we're gonna do the hard part of class. Was that hard already? I don't know. We're gonna talk about, okay, is there any questions? Oh, let's do a question while I transition to the reading. No questions. You all know it perfectly. You're like, I have a question. I just don't feel like hearing him talk more. I understand. I'm getting sick of the sound of my voice too. Okay, fine. Don't ask a question. Okay.
Can it be any kind of question?
From you?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Hassa. What is it?
Thank you. So thank you very much for teaching. Really appreciate it.
No, I had
And yes, whatever. The question I was thinking is maybe you can explain a little about the difference between mind only and the lower part of Madhyamika.
Oh my God.
I still don't understand clearly why the lower part is considered higher than mind only.
Oh yeah. I know. I'm having this debate with my sponsor right now. My sponsor agrees with you. He actually requested a special class with Geshe-la, which he let me sit in on because he asked Geshe-la this question. Let's do it at the end of class though, Hasso, because that's a hard one and it's gonna take a while. And maybe some people don't even know what mind only is and stuff here, okay?
Thank you.
But it's a good question. I've been actually, I think I was thinking about it today. Yeah, today or yesterday. Yes, I do think about mind only in my free time. Okay, good question, though, Hasso. You always have good questions. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, so
Word. Do you hear me?
yeah,
I don't have a question, but Barbara had
okay.
one and she wrote it here.
Oh,
And she wanted to know about the difference about Prasangikas and Sutras, what they don't like agree on, what do they don't agree. I know it's kind of the same, but if
yeah.
that's
It's worse because I don't know the answer. I was gonna specifically say, don't ask me that. Half joking. I don't know all the details. Those things actually are very difficult. I went to a class recently with Geshe Michael and Nick. Recently, it's in the last 2 years, I guess. And they did the differences between, actually, maybe last 4 years. I'm losing time here. They did a class talking about the difference in lower and higher middle way. And it was like one of the most technical classes I've ever been to, okay? With Geshe Michael, for that matter. So it was very difficult. For instance, I don't know all the differences. One of the main differences, which I can speak on somewhat, is that the lower, excuse me, the Sutrists, the South Tantrika school, which is the logic school as well, and higher middle way disagree on their view of emptiness, right? The Sutrists, logic school people, are part of a group called the Functionalists, and they believe that if something functions, that is its ultimate nature. The function of something is its ultimate nature. Okay, and that their view of emptiness is basically something like things are empty of being able to be controlled by people, right? Which is true. It's just in the sense of you don't have control over your world. Like right now, you can't just think of $1 million and that appears in your bank account or something, right? That's true. Even though that's true, it's not the ultimate view of reality, right? So those are two, or maybe 1.5 differences between the schools. For more, I don't think I've ever been given a presentation of that, and it might exist somewhere, but it's probably in Tibetan and I can't read it, and so that's all I know. Okay.
Question number 6. Word talks about that.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I just went over. Basically, question 6. But besides that, I don't know much. I don't think I've ever been presented with it. It's probably out there, knowing our tradition, but I don't know those details. But maybe I'll find out if you keep planting seeds. Okay, cool, good questions. So actually, I had a video prepared, but let's do this. Let's do the reading a little bit. So this is the reading. It's in Tibetan and English. This is the Uchen. Okay. We'll do a little bit, not much. and then we'll just make sure we cover all the homework questions, okay? This class is also supposed to be a practical class teaching you how to debate. It's a little bit difficult on Zoom, okay? I did pull up a video so that you could just watch a little bit. And I'll go over the little that Geshe goes over in this class. I'll do as best I can with the debate section. We'll cover the logic and what he covers in class. I don't know how much we can actually do debate just because of the Zoom format. You know, so we'll just do our best. There is a plague. All right. Okay, so the thing about debating is, I mentioned it last class, but I'll mention it again. You want to say something when you start a debate. There's an attacker and there's a defender, right? The attacker is standing usually, and a defender is sitting. An attacker comes along and says something wrong, okay? As I mentioned last class, saying something that they already know would be considered wrong, like incorrect logic in Buddhist logic. Just like saying things that were beyond their knowledge would also be considered incorrect. So you have to basically walk a fine line between saying things that they know enough of, and saying things that they already don't know the answer to. Okay? Which might be hard, I don't know. Okay. So, because of that, there's a whole tradition, they say, of some guy just comes up and says something. So all these debate books will have this thing called kachik. Say kachik. Kachik. Ka literally means mouth. Chik means one. It just means some guy, this, I'm in Philly right now. You're like, this dude, right? This dude came up, right? How do you say? All the words I know from in Mexican in Spanish are curses. So
Way.
You could say way. That's not the best one though. There's better ones. But yeah, you could say way. Meaning just like some guy comes up, right? And then they say something that's wrong. And you're like, what? And then you start talking to them about it, right? And that's your debate. So here it is. Hasso. Wait, I bothered you enough, Hasso. Rivas.
Hey,
How's your Uchen? Can you read this?
maybe.
Maybe. What?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Tang po
Mm-hmm.
la.
Yeah, good.
Tang po la. Ka
Mm-hmm.
ching kaching
Kachik.
kachik. Nari
Nare.
nare. Ka shi kashi.
She.
Yeah, she.
Mm-hmm.
Go. Chu
Troop.
chu. Na.
Mm-hmm.
Tra
Tak.
truck
Tak.
takpa.
Takpa. Yeah.
Pa tak. Yeah, takpa. We
Yin.
jik
Yin.
jin. Yeah.
Yin.
Jimpa pe
Yin pe. Good.
jimpe ku
Cap.
kiap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Sa
Mm-hmm.
tre
Ser.
serna.
Yay! Good job, Rivas. I know you're rusty. Okay, I gotta slip a little Tibetan in for my Tibetan students. Okay, good. So anyway, so it's dangpo, first. Here's the first. Suppose someone comes and makes the following claim. Kachik nare. Suppose some guy just comes up. He says, if a thing can be established as existing, then it's necessarily an unchanging thing. You're like, what? And it has to be wrong. So you know when you see kachik nare, when you read these books, when you see, Geshe's gonna say someone, meaning not us, some other guy, okay, comes and makes the following claim, right? In English, this means it's in question, it's a claim. You know, he claimed his taxes were one way, but really, right? The claim. Okay. So if a thing can be established as existing, okay? Shidrip, okay? Establishes existing. We had it being in class. Not if, then it's necessarily, okay? Cap, necessarily. Takpa, unchanging, okay? Is yinpa, okay? And it's necessarily an unchanging thing, okay? Is that true? Who wants to debate?
No.
Aldo wants to debate me. Okay, Aldo. Okay, so I say, I say, shijubna, tapa yimpe kapserna. So if something exists, it has to be unchanging, Aldo. Okay? So what in your mind automatically has to be your objection?
So I guess fruits don't exist.
Exactly. Perfect, Aldo, because fruits are a changing thing, okay? And so we're not going to go through the whole debate. First of all, time. Second of all, difficulty, okay? And you'll get bored, okay? But basically, you go through all the, so this is obviously wrong, okay? This is a pretty much a basic debate, and it's obviously, this is incorrect. And therefore, you have to give an example. Aldo picked fruit, okay? In classical Buddhist literature, they pick a water pitcher because it's like the Wi-Fi in your house now. Everyone's got it in their house, okay? And it's crucial. It's like, well, Aldo picked a fruit though, right? Consider a mango. Aldo loves mangoes, right? Then we'll consider a mango. I guess that's unchanging. And right? Because they said everything is unchanging. You're like, what? What about mangoes? Because you can establish it existing. A mango exists? Is that unchanging? It's like, oh, right? Okay, and so when you read this, you have to see when it's in these brackets, it means something is understood in the text, but is not written. Okay? So Aldo, what is this in Tibetan? It doesn't necessarily follow. Do you know?
Kiapa mayung.
Wow. Perfect. Yeah. So, because I'll explain a little bit for people who are still following. Cap means necessarily. Okay, here's the cap. Right? If we can establish that it's existing, it's necessarily an unchanging thing, right? Cap. This is ser. Ser means claim. This means like, some guy came up and said this stuff. Cap, right? And then here, it's understood. You say, it says kappa, necessarily, ma, not, jung, is, or does. It does not necessarily follow. That means what? Consider a water pitcher, right? Consider a mango, right? Even though you can establish that as existing, doesn't mean it's unchanging. I mean, come on. I can eat it. Of course it can change. If I don't eat it, it's gonna rot, right? It ripened. It must have changed, right? It grew from a tree. It's nothing but changing. That's all fruit does, is change, right? Okay, everyone's like, what's going on? I'm gonna keep going. Maybe you're gonna lose. We'll go like this for like 3 more minutes or something. And then I'll switch gears, okay? I'm just gonna keep going. Look, I'm gonna do Tibetan too, because I know you love it. Kya by K. Kya by K means it means you already agreed to that. Because they already because it says Kappa Majung, right? It doesn't necessarily follow, it's understood, right? And it says, but you already agreed that it does necessarily follow, right? This is just like you're arguing with your girlfriend. Okay, don't argue with your girlfriend. But when you do, and you're like, and they're like, but I don't want you to go out tonight. But you already said last week that it was okay, right? You talk about what they said, and that's what they say here. But you already, so you're saying, yeah, man, but you already said that. You can't go back on it, okay? And so they say, what do they say here, Aldo? It's not correct to say a water pitcher can be established as existing in Tibetan.
Takmadrup.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they say, well, that's wrong. That's wrong. Of course. It's not, wait. Because they have nowhere to go. This is the opponent. The opponent's well like, oh, well, I guess, I guess it just doesn't exist then. They're like, wait, what? Of course it exists, okay? So this is just the logical permutations before your head blows up, okay? There's nowhere else to go in the argument. He says something that's obviously wrong. Mangoes don't change, even though they exist. And you say, they exist, but of course they change. You already said, you already said that, you know? And you're like, well, okay, well then I mean, they don't really exist. There's nothing you can say. And then you have to, then you say this, and then we'll be done this part because I can already feel you guys falling asleep. The clouds are going over your eyes so quickly, okay? Okay, suppose you say that it's not correct to say that a water pitcher can be established as existing, right? It's ridiculous, but we're entertaining it. It's like, all right, man, fine. Water pitchers don't, like mangoes don't exist. You're like, whatever. And you say, you're like, that's idiotic. Like, it is so that they can be established as existing because I can see one. Right? When I lived at Aldo's house, I came down the fruit basket. I stole them. I saw them. I took them. Of course, there they were. Right? Because what is this? Established through a valid perception. What is that the definition of?
Existing thing.
Yay! Okay. So that's what he's saying. Because to say that it can be established through a valid perception is to say that it's existing by definition. Okay? Okay, we're gonna stop because I can see the steam coming out of your ears. You should read these debates though. I remember when I first read them, I looked like you, okay? I looked like your face right now. I mean, I was interested, but I was like, this, oh my God, okay? Geshe's very skillful Lama. He paid me to sit there and listen to these classes, okay? That was the only way to get bad students like me to study, okay? Okay, now we're gonna watch a video. Just hold on, I don't wanna do that. Excuse me, I want to switch, not stop. We'll watch a video of debate. And it's supposed to show you the form. I saw a bunch online. You can look around on YouTube or something. Okay, here we go. Everyone can see our debaters. I like this debater. There's a lot of videos, but some were from Sarah, where me and Aldo and some other folks like Hero went to study. Okay, but I like this guy. Look, he's got good energy. Here we go. Okay, you got the idea? So that's the form. You're supposed to have a rosary and you do this whole thing. It's like Kung Fu or something, where you lift your foot and you slap in this particular way. And you're supposed to have the rosary on your left arm and it moves and you're supposed to put it back up. And it's this whole format, which I've just studied a little bit. You know, I haven't done a lot of debating in the traditional format. So that's why I showed you the video, because that's a good one. There's many online if you want to look at them. And you see like people join in, the whole group starts answering the questions and stuff. So, and you notice there were smiles on everyone's face, right? There weren't, I mean, I'm sure people get annoyed sometimes and stuff, but it's for fun. It's like dancing or something, you know. It might be difficult, but you do it for fun. Okay? So we have to make sure we cover all the homework questions. Okay? Hang in there. I see the look on your faces. You guys need a snack or something? Alejandra, you need some water? Drink some water. Takes a lot of brain power. Aldo's gonna go grab a mango. Okay, let me pull up the homework. Okay. I covered most of it, but there's some stuff I didn't yet. I'm just gonna make sure I do, all right? And please listen to the classes. Obviously, Geshe Michael is going to teach this stuff better than me, and there's some things he covered. Certain things were particular to where he was, so I specifically didn't cover them. But other things are just part of the vital information that I just maybe missed or didn't do as well. Okay, and here it is. So give the definition of existing thing in Buddhist logic. Anything which can be perceived with a valid perception. Okay, it's very simple. Even the Tibetan's pretty simple if some of you guys want to learn some. Sememikpa, yupa, yupe, tseni. The definition of existing thing is perceived by a valid perception. It's very straightforward in the Tibetan too. Okay. All right. Name, define, give one example of each. Oh yeah, you should open your homework. You should do your homework now. Okay. You might as well. Don't wait. Name, define, give one example. Oh, they forgot a word, but of each, or one example. No, excuse me, I was wrong. One example each of the two most common categories into which all existing things are divided. Okay, we did this. They're divided into unchanging things, one object which is both a thing, meaning it exists, meaning you can have something that doesn't change from moment to moment, which doesn't exist, but that's not an unchanging thing, okay? That's something that just doesn't exist, okay? So it's something that does not last for a moment, meaning it doesn't change, right? And exists, one object which is both a thing, okay? And classic examples are empty space and emptiness. And usually unchanging things are some kind of negative, some kind of negation. I used the example of emptiness in the class. Okay, and this is Tibetan. Okay, and changing things, anything that lasts for only a moment, meaning is changing from moment to moment. And classic examples are pillar, because they were in all like Tibetan houses usually, and a water pitcher because they were also in Tibetan houses, or Indian houses because there was no running water. So they had to put it in a pitcher or a bucket or what have you for the day. Okay, so let's just review. This is what I explained as far as the use of the word permanent and impermanent as opposed to changing and unchanging. Okay, this only part that I didn't really get into was you can use the word impermanent when talking about like your life, for instance, right? Because you are impermanent in as far as your life. That's a proper use. So I didn't mention this, but chiwa mitakwa means, chiwa means to die. Mitakwa means impermanent, right? Remember that you're impermanent in the sense that you're gonna die. Okay? That's one of the first Lamrim meditations, if you have studied Lamrim. Okay, I'm not gonna go over all of that because I did it in the class. And then I mentioned the synonyms for a working, an existing thing, but I didn't give the definition. A definition is anything which performs a function, okay? So here's the Tibetan for anyone who cares. Tseni, the definition of a working thing or existing thing, I don't know, is something that has the ability, nupa, right? This is like power, ability, like in Spanish, poder, right? To do something, tunje, right? That's all. Very straightforward, okay? If anything, logic is straightforward. Maybe it's too straightforward. That's the problem, right? Okay, and then, oh yeah. This I didn't do. This is the one thing I have to cover in the next 2 minutes. Give the 3 different kinds of working things, the definitions and classical examples. So the 3 ways you divide up working things is into physical things, which is anything that you can show as physical, meaning the only way to identify something as red is to know what red looks like and say, oh, that's red. If you're blind and you've always been blind, there's no way to identify red. It's impossible. You can't do it by touch. You can only do it by sight, right? And in scripture, they use the example of heat, right? Oh, look, touch this, it's hot, therefore it's hot, okay? And then mental things, which is anything which is both invisible and aware, okay? The Tibetan is Saosheng Rikpa. It's very, very famous. And two examples are good feelings, dewa, and yeshe, wisdom. Okay. And then last, and certainly not least of these, is say Denmen Duchi. Denmen Duchi. Duchi means something which is, how does Geshe say? A produced thing. Okay. Min means not, and den means has that. So this literally doesn't mean anything that's easy to comprehend. What it means, Denmen Duchi, is something that has the qualities of physicality and I guess mentality, being mind stuff, but which is neither. Kangrung, Mayin, Be, not either of those, okay? Or both of them. But it is something that's produced, okay? And the classic example, there's two classic examples. A person, meaning like if I say Rivas, right? It means that Rivas he has a body and he has a mind, but he's not his body or his mind. Okay? Any produced thing which is neither matter or mind. An example would be a person which has both a physical form, see this word has, this is why Geshe italicized it, because den means to have. Has both a physical form and a mind, but which is neither, and yet it still changes. Okay? So yeah, we can have a concept of Rivas, and he can go through 3rd grade and 4th grade with his body and his mind, but he's still Rivas conceptually, and yet he will still change. Okay? So I don't know. You can memorize that one. I would memorize Denmen Duchi. I don't know. It's very famous. Maybe you can make some money in class. Not my class. Okay. And then, and this is the example, Kangsak. Kangsak just means individual person. And then last, which is our question from, who was that question from, Aldo?
Barbara.
Okay, Barbara. I don't know. Do I know?
She has another question, by the way.
Okay, we'll get to questions or overtime, but I'll finish this. Everyone can go if they want, and then I'll answer questions for anybody who wants to stay. Okay, question 6. How does the description of ultimate reality in the system of the Buddhist logic schools, which is called Sautrantika, if you care, schools differ from its description in the highest school of Buddhism, which is called the Prasangika group of Madhyamika. Okay? So I touched on it, tried to explain it. Here's Geshe-la's answer. I believe Geshe-la wrote the answers to these answer keys. Those of the logic schools believe that something belongs to ultimate reality when it can, in a very real way, right? Like my phone can perform a function. So my phone can text Hasso. It can also receive text, okay? Oh, by the way, if you text me with a Tibetan question at 11:30 at night and I don't answer you, it's because I'm sleeping. You know who you are. Okay. I'll answer you in the morning. I love you. Those logic schools believe that something belongs to ultimate reality when it can, in a very real way, perform a function. Okay, meaning the phone can make calls and text. And the Madhyamika, right? That's us. Say that the only example of ultimate or higher reality is emptiness itself. Okay, which is the fact that the phone is empty of having any quality of being a phone from its own side, not the fact that it performs a function of being a phone. Got it? Got it, Victor? Victor, did you work all day? Victor works really hard. He's like, don't make this class go too late. I want to sleep. Okay, that's the end of the class. If you want to go sleep or whatever you do at 10 o'clock at night in your house, go do it. If you have any questions, I'll answer them now. Go ahead. I thought someone had a question. Are they in the chat or something? Yes.
Barbara
No.
has 2 questions.
Okay,
in the
hold
chat.
on. Let me. Okay, somebody wants this thing up. Here's the whole answer to 5 as requested. Okay. All right. Questions to chat. Okay, I'm looking. Todas cualidades y características vienen de la mente. Sí. Muy fácil. Gracias, Bárbara. Otra, los conceptos no son mentales. Oh, yeah. This is a good question. Who's this Barbara? Is she in Guadalajara?
She's Barbara from Paraguay.
Oh, I know that Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Barbara de Paraguay.
Hi, Ward. Thank you for teaching.
I know your awesome husband who gave me socks. Thank you again. And your amazing daughter. Did your daughter have a baby?
Yeah.
Aww. Boy, was it a boy or a girl?
Girl, it's a girl.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Tell her congratulations when you see her, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, this is a question. Are concepts mental? Well, yeah. I wish I had a really good answer for you. I'm sure I've gotten a good answer from Geshe-la. Because this is a common question, but they're held in the mind, but they're not mental. I think that's the answer. Does that make any sense? I mean, I guess you can see things that aren't your eye, right? I don't know. Just because you can perceive them with your mind doesn't mean they're mental. I mean, there is like Apache, right? I mean, he's sleepy, but it's okay. There's Apache there's a concept of Apache, and he's there. He's there, he's sleeping, he's relaxed, it's perfect. Now he's awake. He wasn't before. You can go to sleep, Pachi. I know it's late. You work hard too. Anyway, so Pachi is not mental. He's right there, right? See? So But I mean, it's Pachi, right? That's the problem, Pachi. So yeah, it's a fine distinction. I don't know. I don't claim to have a firm grasp on this, but that's what I have for you. So I hope that helps you.
Thank you.
Okay. De nada, Luna. Okay. Any other questions? Bertha probably wants to go to sleep too. Oh, no. She's happy. That's a genuine smile. Yeah, exactly, Raul. Raul sent me a message. Yeah, but then I have to distinguish between mental and mind, which which I can't, which is the problem. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're held in the mind, but they're not mind. Right? Yeah.
Like seeds too, right? Word?
Yeah, but I didn't want to bring that up because that's worse. That's harder to explain.
Okay.
Aldo. Yeah, seeds are the other famous example of Denman-Ducci. But I think you have to say they're not mind, because if they were mind or mental, right, in that sense, then they would be changing with the mind, because the mind is a changing thing. And then how could they, if they change with the mind, how could they be stored as a seed, which then ripened as an event? But then they change as a seed to be kept as a seed in the mind. That's a whole other thing. Ugh. Yeah, but it is something like that. I don't have it completely, but what I'm saying is pretty close. Okay. Anything else? Well, like I don't want to do logic at 10 o'clock at night anymore. Fine. We'll do a mandala. Okay, so that's class. Hopefully you did the homework with us. Now that's done. Then you're gonna meditate right after class, unless your name's Pachi, in which case you're gonna go to sleep. And you're gonna meditate first thing in the morning. Okay. And then try to do that the next night and the next morning too. Okay. And yeah, and then we'll just do the quiz together. It's that easy. Okay. No excuses. Do your homework. Do the quizzes. All right. Okay. Is Hero still here? Did I bore him to death? Yeah. I'm sure I didn't bore him to death. I didn't mean to make fun of him if he wasn't here. He probably just busy. He's probably actually enlightening people somewhere, not just boring them with his amazing music. Who else? Who wants to say the mandala then? Alexa does.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sashi Puki She.
Rira Blingshir Nende Genpadi Sange Shindu Mikte Urwari Joku Namda Kimparsho Iram Guru Rangamazakam Niriatayami
Ewadi Gyoku.
Sunam Yeshe Tok Tok Shin Sunam Yeshe Le Jong Le Kuni Toparsho. Alexa has amazing singing voice. She's like an opera singer or something.
Thank you.
We didn't hear Alexa, by the way.
Yeah, neither did I. But listen, once Alexa heard me sing and she's like, hey, Word, you know, you should stick to logic.
But okay.
It was very close to that. I remember.
Thank you for the class word.
I'll stick to logic. Okay, don't worry.
Okay.
All right. So
Thank you, Word.
you're welcome. Thank you. So Friday we'll have class. Friday night. Woohoo! Woohoo! Who needs El Club when you have logic class? Okay. So please do your meditations and listen to Geshe Michael's classes tomorrow. You can just listen to it in the car. Don't worry, his jokes are better than mine. You'll have fun. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Okay, hasta viernes.
Bye, Word. Thank you, Word.
Bye, everyone. So nice to see you.
See you, bye.
Okay, adios.
Thank you, Berta.
Yes, thank you, Berta.
Berta, muchas gracias.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Gracias, Berta, gracias.
And thank you, Hasso, for Monday. I almost forgot to. I forgot to.
Chao.
Okay.
Gracias a todos.
Okay.